Get ready somewhere for your downward transition. So you bear down more, firm your thighs up a little bit more, and slow the rising a little bit, then go sitting and walk. Tuck under a little. That's okay, no worries.
Cheater.
He totally listened to me on that one. He heard and get ready and walk. So you needed more leg if you wanted to keep him going for one more, but your body signaled to slow down. So you definitely started slowing down. And what I like to think about doing in the downward transitions is that first I'm going to go slow, slow, and walk.
Okay.
But then I want to go like going along, get ready, walk. So you can do it more promptly and not take too much energy away from the trot before you come into the walk, because that one I would say you took enough energy away from the trot that he almost couldn't keep trotting.
Right, okay.
And it's again, we fell into the walk.
Okay, so yeah, my goal there was to sit for a couple of strides.
Yep.
But I think my thinking sitting, he was like, oh, stop.
Right, you had taken enough away
Right.
that when you went to sit, he was like, "Urch."
Yeah.
So for you, what you want to try to do is you maybe ride a 1 or 2 half halts. The bungee cord gets a little more firm, and then you go sit, 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 half halt walk.
Okay.
You know, and you're engaging your core more, and then a breathe out. So that would be, sometimes that's how I'll ride my half halt, like with my body. I'll go, you know, and that's enough. You don't even need to touch the rein then.
Right.
That's how you probably would do it with the Western horses or
Yeah.
something too. You just kind of sit a little deeper, but I do it in a way that I'm like, and I plug down more and I breathe out and my thighs close on a little bit more firm, and it limits the motion and walk.
Okay.
And then of course the rein little half out comes through if nothing else is working. But yeah, and I also want you to keep the reins a little bit shorter because he tends to be very happy just to stick his neck down and long.
Okay.
And be a little in the forehand. So
Yeah,
we're
you'll
going to try
have
to
to
rock him
keep
back.
on
And
me because I'm also happy with his neck down.
you're like, this is such a nice, comfortable position.
I'm like, this feels right.
Yep. I would love his neck there.
Okay, I can keep it there.
So I'm going to say a little shorter reins, and we're going to go to sitting trot. So, I mean, don't make the rein connection the biggest thing of this,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like, you can definitely ride your half halts and limit him, but then, of course, it's back to core, thighs, keeping your collarbone advanced, and low back tucked under a little bit. Sit bones tucked under.
Okay.
Bear down number now?
3.
Okay, you should go to a 6.
Okay.
Think sitting trot, bear down, at least a 6. Okay. So, keep going with this. What do you feel?
It feels fine.
You're tipping forward though, so you're going to start to tuck under a little bit more and bear down more. If you feel like you're losing your balance, bear down to 7, 8, or 9. And you might not be able to keep it super long because you're bearing down a lot. That's better. You tucked under a little bit more with that. Very good. Very good here.
Now he's dropping his head again.
Yep, so ignore that further. You can lift it up a little bit, but keep your thighs firm. Just keep your sit bones tucking under ever so slightly. Your low back is much straighter here in the sitting trot. Well done. And your bear down number now?
5 or 6.
Okay, can you go more?
Yep.
What's it now?
7.
Okay. What do you feel happens when you go to a 7 in your core?
So one of the things I feel happen, like I like how it's pulling my collar bones forward.
Okay.
The downside of just going from the 6 to a 7
Uh-huh.
was I wasn't feeling as connected to the saddle.
So did you tighten your glutes a little bit? You want to think about that, because if you bear down a lot and you get yourself tightening,
And then the
you're going to
glutes
pop yourself
tighten.
right off the saddle.
That I'm sure is what
Yep,
happened.
yep.
Okay, got it.
So really thinking about, imagine your bear down like you've got sand in your body, and you're trying to channel some sand downwards, but without getting heavy, of course, on the horse. But you're pushing sand down, and push it into your thighs. So you get a little bit more pressure going down into your inner thighs a little bit more. Not necessarily squeezing harder on the horse, but like you're taking that energy down and wrapping it around. So bearing down, breathing, and wrapping it down around your thighs and making sure your glutes are not tightening to pop you up the saddle. Now I'd say you need to sit back just a hair more here.
Is that good? More?
Yes, that's good. That's good. So it's interesting, in the sitting trot you tend to go forward, and in the walk you were leaning too far back. But good. So pelvis lifted up in the front a little bit. Careful with the inside hand, just supple it, soften. Yeah, a little bit of inside leg when that happens. Your inside hand's a little too high. And then I'd say shorten your reins. And shorten the reins again. There you go, you can just keep him right there. In this direction he'll be a little stiffer suppling left. No worries. A little bit of inside leg. And breathe, bear down into that, firm core. And change directions. You can just go down around and make a figure 8 loop back to the right. Good job. Firming your core up a little bit more. That's okay, no worries. And the trot is pretty small, and that's fine. But I want you just to keep focusing on plugging into that, pushing sand in your core, down your thighs, sit back. Tuck under with your, there you go, there you go. It's that tuck under with your sit bones. Good job, and keep your elbows bent. Fingers stay closed. So think about your elbows being heavy. Pull them down. Heavy elbows pulled down to your sides, not changing your hands necessarily, but your fingers stay closed. Your elbows just get heavy and pull down towards your hips. Tuck your sit bones under a little bit. There you go. Good job. So the firm front wall should still be strong, but I don't want you leaning more forward here. Good job. Now go to rising trot. And thrust up and over. Good job. Sternum down a little bit. Yep, powerful in the rise. Pull the bungee cord a little more strong. Good job. Are you still 80-20?
Yes.
Okay. Low back needs to fill in a little bit more by bringing your sternum slightly down and tucking your pelvis under. Good. Get ready for downward transition. This time I want you to think about going to sitting trot for a few beats before you bear down to an 8 or a 9 and breathe out to your walk transition. So when you're ready, ride a little half hop and go sitting. It's okay. Yep, that's no problem. And go sitting again when you're ready. And you're gonna have to breathe and bear down a lot. Leg. That's okay. Yeah, just to keep them flowing. Stay sitting. Breathe. Tuck under a little bit with your pelvis. And breathe out to a walk transition. Bear down to a 7, 8, 9. Breathe out, close your thighs, and soften your bear down a little bit. Good. How did that feel?
Good. Yeah.
A lot stronger?
Yeah, he doesn't want to hold that transitional slower trot.
What's happening is you're slowing down a little bit, and then you go to sitting, and the first beat of sitting is a little heavy.
Okay.
And so then he's stopping with that.
Oh.
So you want to think about sitting, coming into a softer sit, into that downward beat. Yep.
Okay, can I try that?
Absolutely. Yep. So you can go to rising again, and then it's a tricky spot because you have to come down firm, but you have to come down soft. Or he'll be like, and stop. So as you're rising with power in the thighs, strong, and you don't have to have a huge trot because we're going to go to sitting and make the trot a little bit, just kind of easy level trot. Now from here, you're going to go, yeah, better. So you softly came into that, and now you can bear down a little bit more and sit into that.
That made all the difference.
Good job. So tell me what you did to make the difference. I mean, I could see it, but in your own words.
Yeah, I just, instead of thinking about transitioning straight from rising to a sitting trot and trying to be deep in that all at once.
Yep.
I just was like, we're just gonna kind of rising
softly
trot
sit down.
until we can sit.
Yeah.
So that was much better.
And it was much more smooth and subtle. He didn't change. You kept the same impulsion in the trot. Energy was flowing, and you just sat and you kept going. And then it was like you firmed yourself up more and got down. Some people have a really hard time coming into the rising to the sitting. It's one of the harder transitions to do. Go from rising trot to sitting, and then keep everything going without getting heavy on the horse. But you did really good with that when you thought about it. So let's go the other way, and we'll just do the same thing. Start off in some sitting trot, and then go to rising, and then back to sitting to a transition downwards. Now just be thinking about in the walk here is where you got to keep your sit bones a little tucked under and advance the collarbone.
Yeah, you don't get to be
You
back.
naturally do that in the trot a little bit better than you would in the walk. I think also the impulsion of the trot, the energy in the trot almost makes you. Like you have to stay on top of it or else you'll fall more back. Where the walk, there's not as much, and it's easier to get behind the motion, trying to send him a little forward. And I don't want you to think about driving him forward. I want you to think about advancing your collarbone, bearing down, and leg to say go forward. Shorten your reins even more. And there is more into the walking that we could get into too at another point, but that's okay.
You're walking good.
He's like, should we canter now?
He's like, I know what comes next.
Yep, advance the collarbone and sitting trot. And then this will be where we got to keep the tuck under and bear down. Yep. Good job. That's pretty straight here. Keep thinking about straight. You got it. Bear down number?
4.
Okay. We're going to go up to a 5, add a little bit more trot to him. So breathe into that. Good job. That's quite straight. And even if he's not super supple on the inside range, just keep him fairly straight in his body and his neck. It's totally fine. Yep. Tuck under just a little bit more. Good job. Bear down to a 5 or 6, and I want you to go to rising trot now. Good. And you just take that power, and now that you're in the rising, you can add a little more trot to him. Yep. Good job. From the bungee cord, from the 80-25. Low back stays filled in. You got to hold that low back a little more, hold the firm core, and you're going to get ready for sitting trot again. So you're going to be breathing and delicately come back into sitting. You might have to ride a half foot once or twice just to go a little. There you go. Now sit back, a little bit of leg on. There you go. Leg, 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 leg. A little more forward trot. Yeah. Bear down a little bit more. Close your thigh and get ready for downward transition. Breathe out and tuck under and see if you can do it from your body. Breathe out, close your thigh. That was pretty good. A touch forward in your body on that, just to be extra picky on that.
Okay.
But that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it felt like you firmed yourself up, and then he stopped, and he stopped almost 1 second more than you. That's what it was like. So we kind of went a little bit forward into it, but you caught yourself.
Okay.
That's the tricky part about the downward transitions, is not letting them stop faster than you.
Right.